Welcome to Pure Dog Talk. I am your host, Laura Reeves, and you guys, I'm really excited. For personal reasons, as much as science reasons, I am very, very excited to have Chan Namgong from Oncotect here. And we are going to talk about revolutionary, I think that would be accurate, Chan, to say,
Yes.
way to have some early cancer detection in our dogs. And as some of you may know, I just this week lost a dog to transitional cell carcinoma, and so this feels really, really, really important to me today. So, welcome, Jan.
Well, Lauren, thanks for having me. And again, I'm so sorry to hear about your dog this week.
It was a lot. It was a lot. So, tell me about yourself. This is your baby. I love that, and I as someone who is sitting here talking to you from a baby that I raised from a pup. Talk to me about this project. Talk to me about how you got started and why you want to do this.
Yeah. So about 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, my mom got diagnosed with breast cancer, which was really a very shocking event because in our family, we never had anyone with cancer. So, and it was thankfully was found early, so
Mm.
she was able to get the care she needed right away, and now she's cancer free and she's very healthy. um, and during that time I had an opportunity to read a lot of cancer related journals and papers, and then I came across this science where a group of scientists discovered that these small nematodes called C. elegans can detect cancerous metabolites in urine in human medicine. So they actually ran a whole study where they used these small nematodes to detect human cancer. And when I read that, I was like, oh, this sounds just too good to be true.
Right.
And then I knew that it was already scientifically proven that dogs can detect human cancer.
Oh yeah.
And because cancer cells produce very particular smell that's different from normal cells, and dogs can tell the difference. And by the way, I actually read an article this morning that dogs can even detect Parkinson's disease
Yes.
by smell.
They used
So
COVID for an amazing
oh,
number of
yeah,
things.
all those things. And what's amazing about these small nematodes is that they have very high sense of smell. They have more olfactory receptors than dogs, despite their small size. So what we have done is we've developed a platform where we are using C. elegans to detect cancerous metabolites in dogs' urine that contains the cancerous metabolites, and we can categorize pets as low, moderate, and high risk of cancer. And our Oncotech is a screening test, not a diagnostic test.
Right.
So this is meant to be proactive and preventative measure, right? So, and then if there's any risk, moderate or high risk, we'll bring you back to your veterinarian for further
Right.
consultation or further diagnostic tests such as X-rays or ultrasound to really confirm or deny cancer suspicion or to identify the type and location. So and that's so I started this business back in 2019, and 5 years later now we have about 100 veterinary hospitals in the US and internationally that are offering our tests, as well as you can also order it directly from our website.
And you know what, Chan, I have to tell you, I after this week that I've been through, and just the week before, I had taken him to my vet because I couldn't understand he was limping. I'm like, why? There's nothing. There's no, $750 worth of X-rays. I didn't get the answer that I would have gotten for a $250 test that I had ordered from you guys.
So I mean it.
That brought it all home for me. I'm not gonna lie to
And there's no one test that's perfect. I mean, I'm not saying our test is perfect either. I mean, we have a very good sensitivity and specificity, but no test is 100%, right? Even X-ray is not 100%. Even ultrasounds are not 100%. But one a vet oncologist that we work with, he said it really perfectly. Like, prevention of cancer is almost impossible because we don't know what's really truly causing cancer. But your best strategy is find it early and treat it quickly. But
Mhm.
also, diagnosing a cancer is like putting a puzzle together. You got to bring different pieces of information to really look at a big picture.
Right.
So, like before, you could have spent, $750, $750 for X-ray. You could have done our test as like first line of defense,
Yes.
right? And then to find that, oh, this says low, moderate, or high, and based on what the risk says, you can go down to the next step,
Right.
right?
And talk to me, Chan. I know that you guys talk to me through the specific types of cancer that you're really sure that you're detecting
Sure.
well, and the
Yeah,
ones like this particular one, this was a transitional cell carcinoma that maybe it would pick up, and but you just haven't put as much emphasis on that because of the other ones that are more common. So talk us
sure.
through that a little bit.
Absolutely. So we have primarily focused on four most common treatable canine cancers. So they're lymphoma, melanoma, hemangiosarcoma, mast cell tumors.
Hmm.
And the reason why we focus on those four is because just due to the sheer limited resources that we have. I'm self-funding this venture, and we needed to focus on the most common ones. We've tested over 700 dogs in the last year or so,
Okay.
and among those 700 dogs we have detected TCC,
Hmm.
bladder, prostate, liver, soft tissue sarcoma.
Hmm.
So we've detected other cancer types, but the reason why we're not making claims for them is because we haven't run large enough sample size to publish any scientific paper on them, which we plan to do this year.
Good. That is very cool. And I guess, I mean, back to what you were talking about, the prevention. So this dog that I lost had just turned 7 years old. And I
Sure.
know in your material, your recommendation is, test a dog on his seventh birthday. If I had
Sure.
tested him on his seventh birthday, I could have saved a week's worth of agony for him
Sure.
and several $1,000s worth of emergency care if I had
Yeah.
known ahead. I feel like I'm pitching your product for you, but I really am because I really um, have come to with a crashing blow understand its value. And so I guess what I would say, talk to us about times that you would suggest, 7 years old, when are other times that you think this is a useful tool?
Sure. So, cancer doesn't discriminate age or breed, right? Cancer hits, human or dogs alike, and it doesn't matter who you are. But it's almost cost cost benefit analysis. Like even in human medicine, children get cancer but less likely than adults, so we don't screen every kid for cancer. With certain age in human medicine, we start screening for cancer, and that same thing for in dogs too. I
Mhm.
mean, you could screen cancer for young dogs, but our normal recommendation is to start testing at 7 years and older as a senior wellness check. But if you have high risk breeds such as Goldens, Boxers, Rottweilers, Mountain Bernese, Irish Wolfhounds, larger breeds,
Mhm.
our recommendation is to start younger at 5 or 6, or even as young as 4. Or if you have older dogs, right, 10 years and older, do that more frequently, every 6 months or so, 3 to 6 months, depending on the condition.
That's a great point. Tell me how far in advance, how much advance notice? So if I had done this, say, in December and it's February, would it have shown up in December or not necessarily? Talk us through that process.
It depends on how aggressive the cancer metastasis was. But if you found out, well, it's February. If you had tested in December, it should have shown some risk, whether it's even if it shows a moderate,
Hmm.
if not high, it should have shown, because the case was very aggressive when you found out in February. I mean, you had to let him go on the same day, so it was very aggressive cancer case, and it should have shown in December.
Okay. So what can you give us a sense of if I'm doing something 6 months or annually, how much lead time does it necessarily give you, or do you know really yet the answer to that?
So we don't have the exact data on that because all the cancer. So the staging data in
Hmm.
canine cancer is very different from the human
Right.
cancer, and they don't stage it as precisely as as a
Hmm.
human. But we have tested low grade MCT, high grade MCT, and we've detected both. And in human medicine case, where scientists use the similar science to detect human cancer,
Hmm.
they're able to detect cancer as early as stage one.
Okay.
If that And so we are confident that we can do the same thing in canine cancer as well.
So very, very early, giving
Yeah,
you, 6 months maybe.
sure.
Is
And
that?
sometimes like our test will show moderate risk, and then vet would go and do X-rays or
Mhm.
ultrasound, and they may still not find anything,
Mhm.
because it still could be that the cancer is still developing
Right.
slowly, right? So it's really important to monitor your dog throughout the next 6 months or so, to make sure that it's not something that's developing as aggressively.
Right. That's really good information.
I had the greatest job in the world, and that's working with dogs.
Best in Show winner is the French Bulldog.
Winston won the National Dog Show. It was amazing. It was exciting. And to have a dog to be #1 dog in this country, you have to have great nutrition. And I always fed Pro Plan. Just like us, when we eat well, we feel good. And I just love that food and what it's done all these years to all the dogs I've bred and all the dogs I've shown.
Trupanion is revolutionizing medical insurance for pets by providing the best possible experience to our members. And it's not some space-age dream. It's happening now. We pay your veterinarian directly while you're checking out, and we're the only ones who can, which means you have decisions in seconds, and you don't have to wait for reimbursement. So unlike with other providers, you'll keep more money in your pocket. Ask your veterinarian if Trupanion can pay them directly, because there's pet insurance, and then there's Trupanion.
So what I want you to do now, because I still don't quite get it in my head, and I'm not, like I say, I'm not a vet, I'm not a scientist, I don't play one on TV. Help us
Sure.
understand they're nematodes. Is that what we call them? Yes.
Sure. So
Smell.
they're small worms, and the scientific name of them is C. elegans. And C. elegans is actually, if you are a scientist or biologist, it's a model organism. It's widely used in different disciplines of science, like in pharmacology, psychology, pharmacology, chemistry, biology, cancer cells, stem
Mhm.
cell research, environmental study, because we know everything about these worms. And in fact, C. elegans was the very first multicellular organism that was ever DNA sequenced. So we know everything about these worms, and what the way we use them and the way we utilize them is we can actually measure the intensity of their calcium activity of a olfactory neuron in their head. And depending on what kind of urine sample we present to them, they respond differently. Like sometimes they respond, low, moderate, and high. And based on their responsiveness and based on the activity of their neuronal response, we categorize urine sample as, hey, there's a low risk of cancer, or moderate risk of cancer, or high risk of cancer.
That is, I don't know. To me, that's just amazing. Because I'm not a
Yeah, well,
scientist.
it's definitely a very novel way. It's
Yeah.
different, but we do have our technology is patent pending,
Hmm.
and again, we've done over 700 dogs in real life situations, from hospitals, as well as directly with
Right.
pet parents that have purchased kits from us, and we're very confident in our tests. And transparently, we do have false positives and false negatives,
Hmm.
but that just kind of comes with the territory in diagnostic tests, because every test has false positive and false negatives. But we feel confident in our true positives and true negatives, that we can offer very good insights
Right.
into your dog's health.
Well, and I think when you and I first talked about this, I thought your analogy was really, really good. It's like getting a mammogram, right?
Sure.
In terms of cancer screening,
Sure. Yeah.
that
So
type
like
of
my
thing. I
mom,
thought was
right?
really on point.
My mom had mammogram. right? Right before she got diagnosed with cancer, and mammogram didn't catch it. So then she was doing another procedure, like she was doing X-ray of her, kidney or something, just as a health checkup, and that's how they found it.
Mm.
So it was, even mammogram couldn't catch her breast cancer. So so again, I'm not down on
Right,
all diagnostic tests.
right.
It's just like no test is perfect. So again, it's important to gather as much data as possible
Right.
from multiple data points, and then see a big picture.
And I just thought in terms of a screening test, right? Like we're using this as screening the same way you would use mammogram as screening or
Right.
something along those
That's right.
lines.
And
And
for screening tests, I think the most important thing is really the accessibility,
yeah,
convenience, and affordability.
and that was what I
And
was just going to go
yeah,
to.
yeah,
Because to me, the idea that I can go on your website and click and pay you $250, it comes to my house, then what happens? I have my dog pee in a cup? Is that what we're doing?
that's right. So I'm glad that you brought that up, because the process is actually very simple and easy. So you'll get a kid, and every kid, and people kind of imagine themselves like, how am I gonna collect my dog's urine? Do I need to like chase them around, with a tube? No, you cannot you can collect urine like that. So what we provide is all the tools you need to collect urine sample. So we inside of it, we have the instruction sheet that explains step by step, pair of gloves, paper boats to collect urine in, free catch. So for female dogs, when they squat, put them on a short leash. When they squat, just gently, put underneath them. Or if a male dog, if they lift their leg, you can just, and all we need is a 1 or 2 ml of urine. So very small amount. So you don't need to collect a
You
lot
do need a
large.
gallon.
No, exactly. And then we have a pipette to transfer, and then we have a preservative tubes, so you don't have to, the sample doesn't need to be refrigerated or frozen. Have a biohazard bag to put the sample back in, and use the same box to mail back to us. And every kit comes with prepaid return labels, so you don't have to print labels separately. So just put it in the mailbox for USPS. And then every kit must be activated, and part of activation process is that you'll be asked to put in your dog's information, but also you'll be asked to put in your veterinarian information. So
Yes.
as soon as you put in your veterinarian information, we send them an email proactively and letting them know that you've purchased a test and this is what it's about, what they can expect next steps. And then throughout the whole process, once the report is ready, we auto share the report with you as well as your veterinarian, so they're in the know. Our goal is to never to circumvent veterinarians. We
Right.
always want to get them included and give them more context. And then at the end of the day, we want you to bring your dog back to your veterinarian for further consultation or diagnostic tests should there be any risk or any concerns that you may have.
Right. Right. So, I mean, again, using the avatar of my own dog that I just went through this, if I had done this in December, like if I'd had a half a brain after I talked to you the first time, I should have just done this. It would have said, maybe moderate or high, depending on kind of where he was in that process.
Sure.
And I could have taken him in when he was limping and say, listen, I just had this test. It said moderate to high. Is it going to say the type of cancer or just cancer?
Sure. No, so no screening test will tell you exactly what it is, not just ours
Right.
or any of other competing cancer screening tests.
Right.
It's low, moderate, high risk or probability.
Okay.
We like to get to a point where in our research and development that we like to get to a point where we can tell, hey, this is more likely to be, lymphoma, melanoma, TCC, hemangiosarcoma, but we're not there yet.
Okay.
It requires
But
a lot
in the
more
future,
research.
we're planning for
That's,
that.
that's correct.
I love it. Okay. So, final piece I would think on this, we'll have links, of course, in the on the website and the blog post. Everybody, be better than me. Order your test and do your screen for your old dogs. Final piece of this, if someone should be so inclined as to feel like this is something that they want to help you with, how would they go about doing that?
They can reach out to us at hello@oncotect.co. We are very responsive. We have an excellent customer service. They can leave us a message on our chat, or they can email us. They can reach out to us through Instagram, Facebook, all the mediums that are out there through social media. But we have excellent customer service. We're very responsive, and our goal is to, because you didn't know something like this exists before we spoke, right? Because the cancer screening tools are fairly new concept in veterinary medicine. And whether it's us or PetDX's OncoK9 or Evolution's NuQ test, we all kind of came to market in early 2022. So it's very new test, and everyone is doing a great job trying to increase the awareness and product education, and we still got a long way to go. It just there's people. My biggest priority is to let people know that there's a tool like this now exists that they can take advantage of. And again, our test is available at both veterinary clinics, and we're the only one that's actually available online where pet parents can purchase directly, because our test is based on urine, whereas other screening tests are based on blood, which you have to take your dog for
I'm
blood
not
drawn.
pulling blood,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. But again,
I might can grab some urine, but
but again, we work with your veterinarians. We are not, we are all in this together. We are one team. So and that's why we have all those systems in place to keep your veterinarians informed and involved throughout the whole process. So people. So one thing that I'll say the last is we have three major buckets of pet parents we help. The first bucket of pet parent we help is people that want to do anything, everything above and beyond to keep their dog around as long as they can, including cancer treatment. Second bucket is people that may not necessarily want to put their dog through cancer treatment because of invasiveness, because of the dog is really older, or the cost, right? We all know that cancer treatment is not cheap, but they still want to know, because then they have options to help them, right? Whether through supplements, mushrooms, like real mushrooms. Real mushrooms and Oncotect are really good partners, and CBD oil, palliative care. There are things you can do as little as give them more favorite treats, or taking them to more walks. So, and then the third bucket of pet parents we help is people that just want to get peace of mind, because now that you've lost your dog in such a sudden, horrific way, that you don't want to repeat that experience. Like who wants to repeat that experience, right? You weren't mentally or emotionally prepared for just what just happened. So people want to get peace of mind, and they want to be prepared, and then they have more options that they can study. So those are three major buckets. And what I tell people is, don't wait till it's too late. Don't regret when after the fact. It's better to be prepared, and there's a lot of humidification of pet happening, whether it's pet food or whatnot. But pet care is definitely becoming more advanced, and there are tools available that people can actually use to really take care of their dogs.
Absolutely. And finally, I thought of the other thing I was going to ask you before I got a little distracted. Cancer happens in mixed breeds and purebreds. We know this. Because this is a podcast for purebred dogs. Do you guys keep track of that kind of information in terms of breed or any of that? And are you able to, and I was talking to you about this earlier, are you able to use the research that comes from, say pedigrees and purebred dogs and that kind of thing? Is that something that's useful to you in your process?
Sure. So we do gather all the breed informations. We ask them what kind of breed. We don't know, but we don't go as far as like, is this pure breed? Some people say just mixed. Some people just say, golden retrievers, but we don't know if it's, pure breed golden retrievers or. So because that hasn't been our like primary focus of study, if you will, so we haven't really tracked that. So we only thing we track is really breed and what people, the information that they give us,
and age.
Yeah.
Okay. I always am thinking, trying to figure out how can we make this better, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, Chan, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time. I know my audience appreciates your time. And this sort of felt like what do they call that? Serendipity do?
Unfortunately.
Serendipity. I mean, we were scheduled to have this conversation on the day that I lost my dog. So
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying, literally, literally. And we had to cancel it and reschedule. So thank you very much for doing the work that you're doing. We appreciate you. And
Well, thanks for having me to share our story.
I appreciate it a lot.
Thanks a lot.